What happens when a simple discussion turns into one of the most uncomfortable on-air moments The View has seen in a long time? Make sure to subscribe to the Echo Scoop and like and comment for more talk show coverage. The episode begins just like any ordinary weekday. The studio lights warm up, the audience settles, and the hosts gather around the iconic table. There's chatter, there's energy, there's the buzz of a new segment starting. Sara Haines sits in her usual spot, smiling politely, shuffling her note cards, while across from her Jennifer Lawrence is adjusting her mic, ready for what was supposed to be a casual conversation about her latest project. But even as the intro music fades out, there's this tiny, noticeable shift. Something a little off. Jennifer looks unusually serious, resting her chin over her hand as cameras roll in. Sara glances at her, smiles again, maybe to break the slight stiffness, but Jennifer doesn't return it. The audience notices. A few murmurs ripple through the seats, nothing major, but enough that people look at each other wondering if this guest appearance is going to be different from the usual fun and bubbly vibe Jennifer brings. Then Whoopi leans forward, giving her usual warm welcome. We are back with the incredible Jennifer Lawrence, who's here to talk about everything it seems. The audience laughs on cue. Jennifer gives a faint smile, but it's not her typical bright laugh. She straightens up, crossing her arms lightly. Sara immediately follows, her voice upbeat. Jennifer, we're so glad you're here. We all know you've had an incredible year, so tell us. Jennifer cuts in gently, it's been busy. She gives Sara a look, not harsh, but firm. The audience picks up on it. That tiny interruption creates a tiny crack, the type that eventually becomes a split. Sunny tries smoothing the energy with a friendly tone. Well, busy is good, especially when you're doing what you love. Jennifer nods but still seems locked in whatever mood she walked in with. Sara goes back to her card, trying again. Your fans really love how outspoken and honest you are about everything. Jennifer raises an eyebrow. Do they? Because every time I'm honest, someone twists it. A soft gasp spreads through the audience. The tension is subtle but real. Sara lets out a small nervous laugh, trying to lighten the air. Well, I don't think we're twisting anything here. We just want to hear your perspective. Jennifer leans back slightly. I'm just saying. Sometimes this show has a reputation for shifting people's words around. The entire table freezes for a breath. Even the audience goes almost silent. Whoopi tilts her head, calmly but directly. Are you talking about us? On this show? Jennifer shrugs, not backing down. I'm just saying what a lot of people say. I've watched clips. The room tightens instantly. Sara looks down at her card again, gathering herself. She tries to respond carefully. Well, Jennifer, we actually try very hard to represent people accurately. If there's ever a misunderstanding, we clarify it. Jennifer replies without hesitation. Sometimes the clarification comes after the damage. The audience releases another wave of murmurs. It's becoming noticeable enough that cameras momentarily cut to a few audience reactions. Raised eyebrows, leaned-in bodies, people whispering. Sunny steps in, mediating again. I think what Sara means. Jennifer interrupts softly but sharply. I'm talking to Sara. That one sentence hits the table like a dropped glass. Sara sits up straighter, her expression tightening just slightly. She keeps her voice calm, but it's clear she didn't expect this level of directness. Okay, she says, placing her cards down gently, then let's talk. What exactly are you referring to? Jennifer folds her hands. Last year. The segment where you discussed the comments I made about work-life balance? You all made it sound like I was complaining. I wasn't. I was talking about boundaries. Sara nods slowly. I remember that segment. And I actually defended you. Jennifer keeps her gaze steady. Not really. You said you understood my point, but then added I was being relatable in an unrelatable way. The audience reacts, a few surprised ohs. Sara blinks, thrown off for a moment. Jennifer, that was meant to be humorous. Jennifer cuts in again, but it wasn't. It felt like a jab. Sara's smile fades. Well, I'm sorry if it came across that way, but that wasn't the intention. Jennifer lets out a quiet breath through her nose, almost like a restrained laugh. I just think sometimes you guys don't realize how these comments sound to the people you're talking about. That feels like the moment everything shifts more dramatically. Whoopi glances toward the producers just off camera, as if debating whether to move to commercial early. But the tension is sticky, gripping, and undeniably gripping TV. Sara hesitates, then decides to defend herself more. Her tone stays controlled, but there's an edge of personal sting. Jennifer, we comment on public interviews and statements. That's literally our job. We don't mean to offend people, we're reacting to what's said in the public sphere. Jennifer shakes her head slightly. But you didn't react to what I said. You reacted to what you thought it meant. The audience reacts again, louder this time, mixed between shock and thrill. Something about the honesty, the directness, the conflict. It feels incredibly raw for daytime TV. Then Joy jumps in, trying to break the rising confrontation. Ladies, let's all breathe, okay? We're having a discussion. Jennifer responds, I am breathing. Sara takes a deeper breath, visibly trying not to let frustration show. I didn't mean any harm, Jennifer. Genuinely. Jennifer responds calmly, I believe you. But intention doesn't erase impact. Whoopi finally steps in, voice steady. Okay, I think we're getting into some deeper stuff here. Jennifer, clearly you felt hurt by something said on this show. Sara, clearly you didn't mean it maliciously. Maybe we can. But Jennifer says softly, I'm tired of being misunderstood. Sara responds, and I'm tired of being accused of something I didn't do. The audience erupts, not loud, but a wave of whoa, people shifting in their seats, cameras catching the shock on faces. The producers do not cut to commercial yet. They know this is becoming one of those moments that people will clip, share, replay. Jennifer and Sara hold eye contact, tension stretching thin across the table. The studio feels heavier now, the tension spreading across the table like a slow-moving wave. The audience is locked in, silent in that way people get when they know something real is happening on live TV. Sara adjusts the papers in front of her, not because she needs them, but because she needs something to hold on to. Jennifer sits upright, composed but visibly firm in whatever she came here prepared to say. Whoopi finally leans forward. All right, listen. Obviously this is something that needs to be talked through. Jennifer, you said you felt misrepresented. Sara, you say you didn't mean harm. Let's unpack it without tearing each other apart. Jennifer responds calmly, that's what I'm trying to do. Sara nods slightly, though her jaw is tight. So am I. Sunny takes the opportunity to jump in. Jennifer, can you tell us specifically what bothered you? Not in general, the exact moment. Jennifer looks directly at Sara. When you said I was relatable in an unrelatable way, it felt like you were mocking me. Like you were calling me out of touch. Sara swallows. I wasn't mocking you. It was a play on words, you know, the kind of humor we do here. Jennifer doesn't look convinced. I didn't find it funny. The audience reacts softly, the kind of oof sound that shows they understand just how sharp the exchange is becoming. Sara continues, choosing her words carefully. Jennifer, sometimes when we comment on celebrities, we do it with a lighter tone, because we're trying to entertain our viewers. But that doesn't mean we dislike the person we're talking about. Jennifer nods slowly. I get that. But that one comment followed me everywhere. Headlines used it, blogs used it. And people online assumed you meant it negatively. So yes, it felt personal to me. Sunny turns to Sara. Did you know that comment blew up like that? Sara shakes her head. Honestly? I didn't. I didn't think it would become a thing. Jennifer raises an eyebrow. It became a thing for me. The audience murmurs again. There's an uncomfortable honesty in the air now, the kind that usually doesn't play out on polite daytime TV. Joy tries to change the direction just a little. Jennifer, why not reach out behind the scenes? Why wait until now? Jennifer exhales. Because it didn't hit me how much it bothered me until I saw another clip recently, something else said about another actress. And it made me think about how these conversations affect people. Sara nods a little too quickly. And I respect that. Truly. But please understand, I'm not someone who takes cheap shots at women. That's not who I am. Jennifer looks at her for a long moment, and the silence stretches. Then she responds, I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm saying the comment hurt. Sara finally looks down, then back up. Okay, then I'm sorry. Sincerely. I didn't know it bothered you that deeply. This time there's no tension in her voice, just honesty. The audience softens, some even letting out a gentle, ah. But Jennifer doesn't soften right away. Jennifer responds quietly, thank you. But I needed to say it here. Where it happened. That line lands like a stone dropped in water, ripples everywhere. Even the hosts shift in their seats. Whoopi raises her eyebrows at Sunny, almost like she's thinking, wow, she really came prepared. Sara lifts her chin, not defensive now, more reflective. I can understand that. It's fair. But the tension doesn't break completely. There's something unresolved in the air, something still simmering beneath the apology. Sunny gently asks, Jennifer, do you still feel like the show misrepresents you? Jennifer hesitates. Sometimes, yes. Sara reacts instantly, surprised again. Even after we clarified that segment later? Jennifer nods. But the clarification didn't reach as far as the original moment did. The audience murmurs in agreement. They know how social media works. Whoopi tries keeping things grounded. Look, we all know clips get taken out of context. We've all been on the receiving end of that. Jennifer nods. Exactly. And when it happens, it feels awful. Sara takes a breath. Okay, so where does that leave us? Jennifer folds her hands. Talking honestly. Sara nods. Then let's talk. But I don't want this to turn into a blame match. Jennifer's expression shifts, a tiny, subtle reaction. It's not blame. It's clarity. Audience reaction again. A soft wave of and whispers. Joy leans forward. Can we ask something honestly, Jennifer? Did you come here today planning to bring this up? Jennifer doesn't deny it. Yes. The hosts collectively react, some eyebrows raised, some surprised smiles. The audience gasps. Sara blinks hard, taking that in. So, you came here prepared to confront me? Jennifer answers calmly, I came here prepared to clear the air. There's a thin line between the two meanings, and everyone at the table knows it. Sara sits back, taking a deeper breath. Well, I guess we're doing that. And the moment only grows more intense from here, because what happens next is what pushes the tension from uncomfortable. The studio feels like it's holding its breath. The audience is so locked in that even small reactions, shifting chairs, quiet murmurs, sound louder than usual. Sara sits upright, her expression caught somewhere between professionalism and personal hurt. Jennifer stays composed, but there's a visible weight in her posture, like she's balancing honesty with the risk of going too far. Sunny is the first to break the silence. Jennifer, okay, you said you came to clear the air. So what does that look like to you? What do you want from this conversation? Jennifer thinks for a second before answering. I want acknowledgement that words on this show carry weight. And that sometimes the tone can hurt people more than you realize. Sara nods slowly. And I'm acknowledging that. Truly. But I also need you to understand that when we sit here and react to public comments, we're doing our jobs. We're not trying to tear anyone down. Jennifer responds, I understand that. But there's a difference between giving an opinion and unintentionally making someone feel small. The audience reacts again, soft, thoughtful murmurs. This is the part of live TV where tension gives way to vulnerability, where people lean in not for drama but for emotion. Joy cuts in, trying to lighten the atmosphere but also genuinely curious. Jennifer, you're one of the biggest stars in the world. Do comments on a talk show really hit you that deeply? Jennifer turns to her. I'm a human being before I'm a celebrity. And sometimes comments from platforms like this stick. More than you'd expect. The audience hums with agreement. Sara looks down, her fingers lightly tapping the table, then looks up again. I appreciate you saying that. And I'm listening. But I wish you had told me sooner. Jennifer nods. I should have. But sometimes you don't realize how much something bothered you until you see a pattern. Whoopi leans forward. Pattern? What do you mean by that? Jennifer keeps her tone calm. It wasn't just that moment. There were other segments about other actors where it felt like the tone was dismissive. And it made me wonder if that's how you saw me too. Sara looks surprised. I don't see you that way. At all. Jennifer drops her shoulders slightly, a small sign of easing tension. Then I needed to hear that. Sunny adds gently, this show has opinions. Strong ones. Sometimes too strong. But we aren't here to tear down women. Ever. Jennifer nods. I believe that. But sometimes it still feels like that's what happens. Sara leans in a little. Do you think I feel good when someone online takes a clip of us out of context and turns it into a whole narrative? I hate it. But we can't control what people on the internet do with 30 seconds of a 40-minute conversation. Jennifer sighs. True. Sara continues, her voice steadier now. So we're in the same boat. Misrepresented. Taken out of context. Judged for tone or timing. Jennifer looks at her for a long moment, then nods. That's fair. The tension shifts, not gone, but beginning to reshape itself into something more reflective. The audience senses this and relaxes a little, though everyone is still glued to the drama unfolding. Whoopi glances between them. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere. But let's be real. This is one of those conversations people are gonna clip like crazy. The audience laughs, breaking some of the stiffness. Even Jennifer cracks a small smile. Joy jumps in. And it's going to be labeled something ridiculous like Jennifer Lawrence confronts Sara Haines. Jennifer looks directly into the camera for the first time. What? That is what's happening. The audience explodes with laughter, catching the surprise humor in the middle of all the tension. Even Sara smiles. A real one this time, though still touched with emotion. Sunny says, "Oh, you see? That's the Jennifer we know." Jennifer shrugs lightly. Humor helps. But the moment is still delicate. Sara clears her throat and speaks more softly. Jennifer, I want to say this clearly. I don't think you're unrelatable. I've talked many times about how grounded you seem. That comment, it was a bad attempt at being witty. I can admit that. Jennifer's expression shifts, her guard subtly lowering. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sara adds, and if something I said hurt you, I truly am sorry. The audience gives a gentle round of applause, slow, supportive, the kind that comes when people witness an honest exchange. Jennifer nods again. Thank you. But Joy, always a fire starter, leans forward. But, Jennifer, do you think maybe you're being a little sensitive? The air freezes again. Sara immediately shakes her head. Joy. Jennifer turns sharply toward Joy. No. I think I'm allowed to feel things when they affect my reputation. Audience reaction. Loud this time, a mix of shock and excitement. Whoopi raises her palm. Okay. Everyone breathe. Joy, come on. Joy laughs, shrugging. I'm just asking what people at home might be thinking. Jennifer responds firmly, people at home don't know me personally. But Sara does. Or at least she speaks about me on TV. So yes, I'm going to respond. Sara looks between them, caught but trying to steady the energy again. Let's not go backwards. We made progress. Sunny nods. Right. Let's keep it going forward. But the atmosphere is building again, sharper, hotter, ready to spark into something unforgettable. The tension snaps back into the room like a tightened wire. Even after the brief laughter, the energy shifts the second Joy throws out her question. The audience senses it immediately, everyone sitting on the edge of their seats, waiting to see whether Jennifer shrugs it off or fires back again. Whoopi steps in quickly. Let's not frame someone's feelings as being too sensitive. That's not fair. Joy raises her hands. I'm not attacking her. I'm saying there's a possibility. Jennifer cuts her off, calm but unshakably steady. Joy, sometimes when someone tells you they're hurt, the right answer isn't to question the hurt. It's to acknowledge it. The audience reacts loudly, applause mixed with supportive cheers. Sara gives Jennifer a small, almost relieved nod. It's clear Jennifer isn't just making a point, she's setting a boundary. Joy rolls her eyes playfully but backs down. All right. Sunny leans in toward Jennifer. So you're saying this isn't about being overly emotional, it's about accountability? Jennifer nods. Exactly. We talk a lot about women supporting women. But support also means treating someone's feelings with respect. Sara exhales softly, the tension leaving her shoulders. I hear you. And I'm glad you said it. Whoopi, sensing the moment is shifting again, tries to anchor it. So, is this something the two of you can move past? Jennifer looks at Sara. Yes. I think talking about it openly helps. Sara smiles. A real, warm, relieved one. Good. Because trust me, Jennifer, the last thing I want is for you to walk away thinking I don't respect you. Jennifer returns a small smile. I don't think that anymore. The audience applauds, some standing. It's not explosive applause. It's emotional, relieved, like they just watched two women work through something uncomfortable with honesty. But of course, it's the view. Nothing stays calm for long. Joy leans in again. Well, I'm glad that's settled. Because Twitter is gonna set itself on fire with this one. The audience laughs knowingly, because it's true. Sunny adds, it's already trending. I promise you. Whoopi shakes her head. We're not even off the air yet, Sunny. Jennifer gives a small laugh. Great. Can't wait to see the edits. Sara rubs her forehead jokingly. I'm terrified. The audience bursts into laughter, and the atmosphere finally feels lighter, the kind of light that comes from surviving something intense together. But then something unexpected happens. A woman in the audience shouts, "We love you, Jennifer." Jennifer turns, touched. Thank you. Another person calls out, Sara, you're doing great. Sara puts a hand to her chest, emotional. Oh my God, thank you. The hosts look genuinely surprised. These audience outbursts rarely happen, especially during heavier moments. Whoopi smiles. See? We can have tough conversations. Nobody died. Joy adds, yet. The audience roars with laughter. Jennifer looks around the table and says softly, I didn't come here to fight. I came here to make sure my voice wasn't being drowned out. Sara nods. And I'm glad you said something. Really? Sunny looks at the camera. This is what honest dialogue looks like. Whoopi gestures broadly. Well, we're about to go to break, but I think everyone here, including us, needed this moment. She pauses. And we'll be right back. The applause swells as the show cuts to commercial. Aftermath backstage. When cameras stop rolling, the energy backstage is a mix of relief and exhaustion. Jennifer and Sara exchange a quiet conversation out of earshot. Nothing dramatic, just two adults decompressing after an emotionally charged moment. Crew members hover, unsure whether to approach or give space. Jennifer leaves the studio looking calm, not shaken, like someone who finally said what she carried for too long. Sara takes a moment alone in her dressing room, visibly affected but relieved that the conversation ended on a respectful note. Social media reaction. Within minutes. Hashtag Jennifer on The View. Hashtag Sara Haines. Hashtag The View Drama. Hashtag Echo Scoop Story. All trend simultaneously. Clips spread like wildfire. Some viewers praise Jennifer for speaking up. Others defend Sara, saying she handled it gracefully. Many call it one of the realest moments on The View in years. Fan edits, reaction videos, and think pieces flood every platform. After the show, producers release a short statement about the importance of open dialogue. Entertainment blogs cover the event within hours. Fans debate whether the moment was tense or empowering, or both. But one thing is clear. This episode becomes one of the most talked about segments of the year. And that wraps up this shocking on-air clash that unfolded like no one expected. What's your take on Jennifer Lawrence and Sara Haines' tense exchange? Did Jennifer go too far, or was she justified? Share your opinion in the comments and subscribe to the Echo Scoop for more real talk show stories.